Hey, welcome in my math party people. We're gonna go ahead now and take a look at mental math with multiplication here. So we're gonna go through some very manageable problems and then we're gonna get into some extreme ones as well. So it's a short video, but it's gonna be well worth it because once you start applying these strategies to your regular arithmetic reasoning or math knowledge or whatever it is that you're doing, you're gonna be looking at this like, oh wow, I can save a lot of time, I can get a lot better at this, I can feel more confident. And that's the point. So let's go ahead and dive in here. So first things first, I'm going to take a look at this first one here, 4 times 48. Now I'm going to show you how to use mental math, again, to crush this. Because the majority of the time, we might look at that and we'll be like, okay, we'll write 48 times 4, 8 times 4 is 32, carry the 3, 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 3, that's 19. And yeah, that's typically how we'll do it, right? Now, the faster way with mental math is by using the strategy called splitting and gluing. This strategy works very, very well. And if you also remember the other strategy, estimating and compensating, that'll work just the same. So let me go ahead and show you how both of these can work with a problem like this. So remember, the answer is going to be 192. We already discovered that. Now allow me to show you what's going to happen here. So here's splitting and gluing. Let me go ahead and show you that here. So with split and glue, here's what this will look like. When you're doing 4 times 48, just take a look at the 48. 48 is 40 and 8, correct? Right? So in your head, here's how you can think about it. Instead of thinking about it 4 times 48, you can think about it as 4 times 40 and 8. The way that this works is you're going to be basically thinking about this with a distributive property. Now, avoiding all of this math lingo, pretty much what you're doing is you're splitting that bigger number, the 48, into two smaller numbers, 40 and 8. So 40 times 4, that's going to be 160. And again, you're doing this in your head. And then 4 times 8, that's 32. So there it is. We have 40 plus 8, and so we multiply the 40 by 4, the 8 by 4, and then we glue it back together. So 60 plus 132 is 192. And you can do that again in your head. That's the great thing about this. Now, here's another way to think about this. Just like you can split the 48 into 40 and 8, you could also do this if you wanted to. And again, I'm inviting you to do this. You don't have to do this. I'm really just inviting you to think about it this way. So if you have 4 times 48, well, the thing is, you can think about it as 4 times, and you know that 50 is really close to 48, and that'll be a lot easier to deal with. So you could say 50 minus 2, because that's how you would get 48. Now, why did I choose 50? Well, again, it's a convenient number. It ends in a 0, making it really, really convenient for us to use. And so I can say, hey, 4 times 50, that's 200. And remember, we're subtracting here. We're subtracting right here. And so we'll subtract whatever 4 times 2 is, which is easy. That's going to be 8. So there it is. We have 50 minus 2, if we can consider it that way. This is called estimating and compensating. You estimate to the next highest number, and then you compensate or make up for it by taking it back. So 4 times 50 is 200, 4 times 2 is 8, and so 200 minus 8, 192. It works just the same. Now, again, there's going to be different strategy or different times where using either strategy might work better than the other, and so that's why I want to show you both. So estimating and compensating or splitting and gluing, they both work. You're just splitting the number up into two easier numbers, then bringing it back together. So let me go ahead and find another example here that isn't as big as these here yet, because we're going to go ahead and get this done in a second. So let's take a look at 8 times 47. Look, let's be honest. If you want to go ahead and lower test anxiety, if you want to stop blanking out on word problems, and actually understand how to use formulas instead of just memorizing them and not knowing what to do, then you need a program that's going to support you all the way. So a program that basically lets you text your coach whenever you need them, a program that allows you to go to classes and watch all the recordings, a program that gives you access to thousands of extra practice problems with video solutions, a program that gives you much, much more than that with practice tests, study guides, and more. That's exactly what you're going to need. Again, I'm Coach Anderson. Reach out to me, shoot me a text, or click the link in the video here to go ahead and learn about my ASVAB All-Access Program. It's everything my students use to raise their scores to get the jobs they want, so feel free to check it out so that way you can get in on the action too. I'll see you in there. If I'm looking at 8 times 47, I'm going to want to go ahead and just easily do this. Look. Split and glue. I'm going to treat this as 8 times 40 plus 7. And again, this is happening in my head. 8 times 40 is 320 because 8 times 4 is 32. So that would end up being 320 in my head. And then we would have 8 times 7, which is 56. So 320 plus 56, 376. Just like that. And again, this is happening in your head. 376, and that would be our answer. So you want to give yourself the opportunity to, again, get this done faster than you would by just writing it down. This mental math is really king. It really does help out a lot. Now you're looking at these 2-digit by 2 digits here, and we'll take a look at these in a moment, all right? But I want to go ahead and practice just a couple of more here, just a couple more with the basic split and glue. Then I'll show you how split and glue still works with the other ones. So 48 times 6. In my head, I'm thinking about this as, well, 40 plus 8 times 6. And so I can still do the split and glue. 6 times 40, so I'll do that in blue here. 6 times 40, that's 240. And then we have ourselves 6 times 8, and that's 48. So in your head, what's 240 plus 48? 288, and we're done. Seriously, it is that straightforward. We just need to make sure we know how to do our basic sense of multiplication to make sure we can get this done as quickly as possible. Because if not, then things get a little tougher as we go along. So let's go ahead and take a look at one more example here with 2 by 1, and then we will take it to the 2 by 2. So let's go ahead and take a look here at, let's go ahead and say, let's take a look. Right here, we can do 8 times 36. 8 times 36, let's take a look at that. So here, we can say that we have 8 times 30, which is 240, and then 8 times 6, which is 48. And so 240 plus 48, just like the other problem, is 288. So remember, it's all about place value. The reason that that's a 30 and not a 3 is because it's 36. This is the tens place, remember that. So now let's move on to the more advanced stuff here. Let's take a look at some of these advanced techniques now. Let's take a look at 61 here. We got 2 by 2. You may be looking at this and you're like, oh man, this looks really tough. It's not really that tough. You really want to make sure you pick the most convenient way to do it. So here's what I mean. I can go ahead and turn this into 20 plus 1 times 25. We can think of it like that. You can also think of it as 21 times 20 plus 5. You can do it either way. Either way will work. I just like multiplying by 25 rather than 20. That's just me. But again, you can go either way. And so look at how convenient this becomes. 25 times 20. Well, that's easy because you can just do 25 times 2, which is 50, then bring that 0 back, and that's 500. And then you have, oh, look at that. Look how easy this is. We have 25 times 1, which is 25, and that's going to be 525. So look at the opportunities that you're affording yourself here. You're giving yourself a really good opportunity to get this done really straightforward. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at another example here. Let's say we have 15 times 21. Well, again, you can give yourself an easier time by just checking out which way might be the most convenient way. I can go ahead and split the 21 up. I can split the 15 up. Really doesn't matter. Either one will work. So I'll change this into 15 times 20 plus 1. And again, this is happening in your head. So you split it into 20 plus 1. What's 15 times 20? Well, ask yourself what 15 times 2 is, which is 30. Then you bring the 0 back, and that's going to be 300. And then you have 15 times 1, which is going to be just 15. So the answer will be 315. So again, the point of this, the reason that this works is because you're dealing with easier numbers. A number ending in a 0 versus a number ending in something else, it's always a lot easier to deal with numbers ending in 0. So that's why I'm really excited about this. I'm going to show you just a couple more examples here to really get things going. So let's go ahead and check out, let's do this one, 67. 42 times 14. Hey, learn more about how you can get all of my classes, all of my practice problems with video solutions, and all of my study guides, practice tests, flashcard sets. Oh, and by the way, the ability to text me whenever you need help. Go ahead and learn about my ASVAB All-Access Program. Click the link in the description here, or shoot me a text at 567-698-8867 to learn more about it. Again, I'm Coach Anderson. Let's learn more, and let's ace the ASVAB. Again, you can feel free to try to write this out on your, by hand and do 14, okay, and then you go ahead and work it out. Feel free. Or you can use your mental math and you can really give yourself a good opportunity. Here's what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and split up our 14 into 10 and 4. All right, sounds good. So I'm going to split that 14 up into 10 and 4. So in my head, I'm looking at 10 and 4. And so what's 42 times 10? You might have thought that that was the hard part. It's actually really easy. Multiplying by 10, you just tack a 0 on. So that'll end up being, in my head, 420. Then you have to ask yourself, what's 42 times 4? Well, if you want to think about that in your head, well, that's actually pretty straightforward as well, because you can say 40 times 4 is 160, 2 times 4 is 8, so that's 168. So you're adding 168. And again, you can just write these two numbers down and give yourself a much easier time instead of writing out the entirety of 42 times 14, then you go and write all that mumbo jumbo. You can just write those other numbers in. That way you can have them right in front of you. Then you add them back together and you're set. 488. Or excuse me, 588, because you add the 100 for 520, 580, 588. Just like that. So there it is, my party people. We went over 2 by 1 digits and then 2 by 2 digits here for mental math with multiplication. Now, if you're in the course, what you want to do here is you want to go ahead and proceed over to the worksheet and then the speed drills. That way you can really practice this all together for yourself. Again, we want to perform well under pressure, and the only way to do that is to first understand what you're doing, practice what you're doing, and then work for speed. So with that said, if you're in the course, go ahead, move on down, get into it, and let's keep raising that score, my party people. I am Anderson, your math coach, and I'll see you in the next video.